Hello, welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to be talking about WTF is VAT. Now, the reason we're choosing VAT is because it's one of those taxes that really does cause confusion to small business owners. So we're going to break it down, understand exactly what it is and when it should be applicable for you. So roll the intro and let's get straight into it. Hello, my name is Aaron Patrick. I am a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer, that QuickBooks Chap on the internet, head of accounts here at Boffix, and also your friendly podcaster who goes live each and every Monday morning at 8:30 AM for Ask the Accountant. Now, in today's video, we're just going to talk about the wonderful world of VAT. Now, I say wonderful, it's far from it. It is one of those taxes that, as a small business, will be the most confusing and the most painful at the same time. But it shouldn't all be doom or gloom. There are ways in which you can mitigate how bad VAT can hit you and everything else in between. And that's what we're going to cover today. So first and foremost, before we explain what is VAT, let's explain when VAT is applicable. You see, at the very beginning of your business lifestyle, you will have a choice. Do you become VAT registered or don't you become registered? At the very beginning of your business, you can choose to decide to be VAT or don't, and you can continue to make that choice up until your turnover, so remember that's that very top figure of what you're earning, is over £85,000. Now, when it goes over £85,000, the choice of becoming VAT registered or not becoming VAT registered gets taken away from you. And that means then you have to become VAT registered. Now, before the choice is taken away from you, you do have an opportunity to become VAT registered early. And in some circumstances, that's actually the right thing to do. And it's actually a clever way in which you can grow your business. But for most people out there, you're not going to want to take that opportunity to become VAT registered until you're forced to become VAT registered. So one of the most important things is not to forget when to become VAT registered. Do not miss that threshold. Do not go over a 365-day rolling period and go over the 85k or whatever the threshold is at this point in time. Make sure you're always on top of that, because if you miss that number and you go over it, there's some really nasty penalties and fines coming your way, and VAT itself will also be backdated to the date in which you went over. So that's the why you have to become VAT registered and when to look out for it. What about the what? What is VAT registration? Well, in the simplest of terms, VAT is you selling something, then adding VAT on top of it. When you add the VAT on top, though, the VAT is never yours, it's the government or HMRC's, and you're collecting it on behalf of them and you're going to pay it over to them, typically on a quarterly basis. So let's make it really, really straightforward. Say that you were selling a service or an item for £100, pre-VAT registration. When you become VAT registered, in an ideal world, you won't sell it for £100, you'll sell it for VAT on top. So that item will become £120. But that £20 that you're collecting is never yours. In reality and in a disciplined business, you want to be grabbing that £20, put it in a bank account and waiting until you have to pay it over. Now, VAT itself, when you are charging VAT, should only ever affect the end consumer. That's you and me when we decide to go to the shops. So if VAT should only affect the end consumer, then as a business, that means if we get charged VAT, what we're allowed to do is claim that VAT back. We're allowed to say, right, okay, I'm not the end consumer. I will be charging the end consumer later down the line. So in effect, what you're doing is you're passing the VAT down the chain until it hits the end consumer. Which means, if we go back to that scenario, I've sold something for £100 and then £20 as what's been collected. I don't have to pay the whole £20 over. I can offset any VAT that I've suffered. So imagine for me to get to that £100 item, I had to go and buy something that was £60, which had, incidentally, £10 of VAT on top. Well, I get to claim the £10 that I've suffered against the £20 that I've actually collected off my end consumer, and I only have to pay over to HMRC £10. So in an ideal world, as a business, VAT, we should be neutral to it. We have to collect the VAT on behalf of HMRC, pay over on a normal quarterly basis, sometimes monthly, and the bonus is any VAT that you suffered, you get to offset what you need to pay them, and it's going to reduce the amount you have to pay in VAT overall. In fact, if you're in a position where you've suffered more VAT than you've collected, you get a refund. Which is why in some circumstances, for some businesses, actually opting to become VAT early is a really good thing, because it means from a cash flow perspective, you're going to have the ability then to be able to go and actually get a refund off HMRC each and every time. Crucially, the only time you'll get a refund, remember, is when the VAT you collect is actually less than the VAT you've suffered. Now, again, ideal world, neutral VAT. You add 20% or whatever your VAT rate is to what you're selling, you're collecting it off HMRC and everyone's happy. In some circumstances, though, it's not as straightforward as that. In some circumstances, you adding 20% onto your sales could completely cripple your business. So there are circumstances out there where you're really forced not to be able to add the VAT on and you've got to suffer that VAT. There's two things to remember about this. Number one, well, realistically, it's part of business and you need to grow past it. For a lot of businesses out there, if they just sit around the £85,000 mark, they will suffer. But if they get 100k or above, then actually their business continues to grow and it just becomes part of your business costs. Second point is that we've been talking about the standard VAT system, and that is pretty much what we'll be talking about for most businesses. But there are schemes out there that are designed to level the playing field, to make it fairer. For example, there's a scheme called the flat rate scheme, which is designed to make it so it's less admin intensive for you and your business. And in some circumstances, you would be better off being on the flat rate scheme than being on the standard scheme. There's also the cash accounting scheme, where instead of it all being on really strict standard basis, VAT is only ever considered when you receive money and when you pay for things. And then there's other schemes like margin schemes, partial exemption schemes, and all manner of different schemes that again are designed to help level the playing field. But it doesn't matter what scheme you're on, what you've got to remember is your obligations. And your obligations is to make sure that you continue to charge VAT when you have to, making it really clear to end consumer or business. And you need to be making sure that you submit a VAT return on normally a quarterly, but maybe monthly, and in some circumstances, annual basis. When you come to submit that VAT return, however, you can only submit that VAT return when, and crucially, you are filing via a Making Tax digital compliant software. For us, we would obviously recommend QuickBooks, best in the business, but there are loads of software out there. And there are software that are really, really particular for certain industries. So do some research, find out which software is right, but you need to be remembering that the only way for you to be able to compliantly get that information over to HMRC regarding your VAT return is by using MTD compatible, Making Tax digital compatible software. And there you have it, a WTF of VAT. Now, if you've liked this, don't forget to use the subscribe button. Don't forget to use the like button. Don't forget to put the comments in below of which WTF you need next. That's what this channel is all about. It's making sure that you, as a business owner, understands the principles of what is right for you and your compliance. And what better way of doing that than a whole video dedicated to that topic. We'll also go into a more deep dive into VAT at some point as well. So it's going to be well worth your effort. Use that little subscribe button, put a little like button, and then that way we can continue to grow this channel, continue to cover the topics that mean the most to you, making sure that you stay compliant. My name's been Patrick. Let us know in the comments below, what do you think of VAT? Have you got any problems with it? Is there any issues you've encountered so far? Love to know below, and we can maybe do another video on it. My name's been Patrick. This video has always been a pleasure to do for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.